Greetings. So I am Camson, the Untamed Oracle. If you do not know, I am using my gifts of being able to connect with Akashic records of all living beings, being able to read energy. And so today I'm going to be sharing with you a reading that I felt like was going to be absolutely transformational for anybody who may be in a space in a spiritual awakening where a lot of things are shifting. When you really start doing the inner work, sometimes the external world starts to shift and you kind of feel like a rug is being pulled under your feet in certain matters. And there may be matters where the way you used to solve it is not working anymore. An example of that could be, let's just say it's something going on with your relationship, and usually just sitting down with your partner and pulling them aside and expressing your heart would lead to a resolution. But maybe now it's like there's this hypersensitivity thing going on and it's not working like that anymore. So you're having to find a new tool, you're having to adapt, and a lot of us are being triggered to adapt right now. And so what I'm going to do is go over what came up for this energy. I went ahead and pre-pulled these cards. And this is occurring for a lot of us. This is occurring for a lot of us because we are picking up on the vibrational frequency of a different version of us. So I don't know if you heard about it, but we got these two moons that they're talking about we're going to have. And that is just another way that we can know that we're actually living on dual earths right now. This is the bifurcation of two earths. And so as we're creating a new earth by new mindsets, new habits, new routines, new personal beliefs, new ways that we seek guidance spiritually for our life, as we're doing that, we're basically creating a new earth that's going to operate differently. So with all the systems that are going down in the physical realm, this is also happening in the spiritual realm as well. So the first question that I wanted to know, it was, what tool is it that maybe I am not using and it's available to me right now? And this was with the American Goddess Rising deck that I have here. And the card that came up was Sachi. And Sachi, also known as Hottentot Venus, she represents grounding. And she is of the temple of the ancestors. And so the ability to be able to ground yourself is going to actually be the secret sauce to what changes in your life and how. If we are trying to manifest something but we're not grounded, and you know when you're not grounded because you start to worry, the mind and the ego starts to take over. It's difficult for you to trust that things are working out for you. You start to feel anxious. You find yourself ruminating the same thoughts over and over again. It gets a little difficult for you to pull your mind away from whatever the negative thing is that you're observing. All of these are signs of not being grounded, not being able to focus on what's in front of you and be fully present. And yes, there is a system that is being used in a 3D matrix to work against us, to keep our minds busy, to constantly feed us information from all of these different feeds and social media. And it's just so much. And that was part of the reason that I burnt out trying to keep up with the 3D matrix as I'm ascending into a higher vibrational consciousness of my own self and my reality, which creates the world that we all experience collectively. And it's just not for me. A slower pace of life is what resonates best with my soul. And I have to honor that and love myself to do that. So one thing that you can do not have conversations where you're resolving conflict without being grounded first. Don't make decisions without being grounded first. Just take a few minutes and do breath work. Just take a few minutes and acknowledge the breath that's inside of you is a gift, and it is the gift that is keeping you tethered to this thing called life for you to evolve and have this experience. Some of y'all have not been really leaning into grounding, and this is something that I was sleeping on as well. I have my practices that I do every day, but sometimes I'm just doing it for the sake of repetition and not really being intentful about why I'm doing this. So for me, it's the inhale, breathing in fresh, positive ashe, shakti, fresh energy. Inhale, instead of the intention, visualizing that I'm inhaling fresh energy, love from the universe, and I'm exhaling the stagnant energy. We must learn how to be energetic masters, to become masters of creating deliberately. So in doing that, you want to acknowledge and check in with yourself. Do I have stagnant energy in me? Am I not grounded? If you're not grounded, you're holding on to stagnant energy, and it also means that you're holding on to the energy that you absorb from others and from experiences. Most of us here are empaths. Most of us who are on this spiritual awakening journey have different forms of gifts, and a lot of us are empaths, where we unconsciously pick up on the energy of environments, places that we go, conversations that we have. There are conversations that you may have had 20 years ago. You absorb the energy of that, and that energy has created a stagnancy, blockages inside of you. So breathing and imagine that as you breathe, I often start off with my root chakra, because this is what creates safety. This is where the inner child lives. So as you breathe, breathing into your root chakra, allowing that breath to come in fresh and renew, anything that is holding you back, making you feel heavy, making you question yourself, question if you're really worthy, question if you're capable. Like, this is a part of this journey. So breath, working with breath. Go back to your crystals, working with crystals. This is a smoky quartz that I am working with and going to be continuing to work with. We sell these on our website, and a lot of changes are coming to the website. So go and get your spiritual tools now. Don't wait. I don't know exactly what instructions I'm going to be giving, but I do know if you want to be really dedicated to your journey, get some spiritual tools, because any black crystal is going to help to absorb that negative energy that you're releasing. And I think a lot of us have been trying to operate through the spiritual awakening, but having a lot of stagnant energy and tension, repressed anger. A lot of us don't really allow anger to come out, especially if we feel like it can be too much. It can be irresponsible or come out in ways that's not healthy. So black crystals, I recommend the black obsidian. If you really want to do the shadow work, have you some black stones, and the energy from this stone is so unique. And you can just rinse them off when you have absorbed and you might feel like it needs to be cleansed, and sit it in sunlight or moonlight and let it be charged. And you can just charge it with your own affirmations. A lot of information is within Patreon about crystals. I have a whole masterclass using crystals for lucid dreams, so you can check that out. The link will be below. But again, go and look at the products in the store and look at the online programs. Most of the online programs are 10 days at the most to complete and do, and it is a spiritual reboot. So I want y'all to use that and tap into that while it is there, because we're making some changes. So grounding, ground, okay? Let Mother Earth hold you. Let the roots, your root chakra, go into the roots, the inner core of Mother Earth, and ask her to hold you and to help you. This is going to be a challenging time for us empaths, for those of us who are hypersensitive because of certain traumas that we have become aware of. For those of us that have psychic abilities that are being activated, we have to release as much as we possibly can to make room for the new, so that we learn how to manage these things. Ascension is not just a cute word, the bifurcation of two earths. You literally get to choose which earth do you own. So yes, grounding. So I asked the question, well, what else can we do in our day-to-day life to help with this? And it was truth, Nundi. And this is the wife of Papa Legba, and she felt like even with multiple wives, she wasn't enough for Papa Legba. And she ended up coming to the solution of being her own best friend, having to be her own best friend and to be committed to being that every day. Are you being your own best friend? Are you speaking the truth to yourself? Sometimes, in order for us to get past some challenges, we just need to be honest with ourselves about the way that we feel, and that will allow those challenges to start to dissolve versus us trying to use our willpower to force that challenge away. So, are you standing in your truth? This has nothing to do with nobody else. Are you accepting the truth? And it doesn't mean that it cannot change, but acceptance is the first step in alchemy. So accepting what is, this is what it is, and it doesn't mean that it cannot change, and it doesn't mean that it's a negative thing that's going to keep me stuck. Sometimes we avoid accepting what is because we think if we resist it, it'll allow us to get unstuck. But what you resist persists, so it keeps it stuck. So you want to just accept. I accept that I feel this way. I accept that I have not really been on my spiritual journey with dedication. I accept that I have not been owning my truth. I accept that sometimes to avoid conflict, I don't say how I really feel. I accept that I have taken on the responsibility to be the emotional peacekeeper at all times, and I'm exhausted from doing it. And maybe I have some anger that has been buried inside of me, and it's turning to resentment, and it's turning to something that makes me feel ashamed, maybe, that I'm treating myself this way. I accept that. I accept that I have not been my own best friend. I accept that. And once you accept that, you will start to feel a silence and a peace, a calm come into you just from accepting it. The mind, the ego would go quiet. The ego would be less chattery because you're accepting it. The ego feels seen. The inner child, which is where a lot of these issues stem from, who is always alive inside of you. That your inner child is not gone. They didn't go nowhere. Just like when our loved ones pass away, they don't go anywhere. They're inside of us. They're a part of us. And so when you do this, the inner child is being reparented. And on this journey in personal development, reparenting the inner child is how you heal issues extending from your childhood. But spiritual reparenting, connecting with a spiritual deity to reparent you, whose mythology may be something that can help you, like the mythology of Nundi, right? So connecting with alchemical deities who can help you transform, that's taking it to the spiritual level. Personal development I found to be really great and necessary, but taking it to the spiritual level was a new level for me. And so all of the online programs that I have implemented that, and you can start off with the one for root chakra healing the inner child. It's only $9, and it's just 10 days that you can work through. And really all you have to do is listen, just receive these messages. Now, the next question that I wanted to know was, what was the real hiding issue? What's hiding? What is the root of some of the spiritual issues that I have? And the card that I pulled was from my Isis Oracle deck, which we also have for sale on the website. Look at that beautiful artwork. So powerful. You see Osiris is there, like supporting Isis and holding sacred space, and the divine masculine within each of us wants to hold that space. But we have to be able to let go of what is no longer serving us. We have to know that sometimes there's nothing to be gained and everything to be lost if you try to hold on to something that has reached its expiration date. Osiris is the Lord of the dead. And so he's calling for those of us who are ready to move to the next level in our spiritual journey, to release that which no longer needs to be a part of our life, so that we can be free, so that we can be liberated from some of these karmic issues we feel like we keep repeating. So a proper burial. This is why I created the false self burial, the false self ritual. It is a ritual, it's an affirmation that you can read to bury a version of yourself you have discovered that you're ready to release and let go of. And that began with people pleasing and codependency for me. And so I wrote that from that place. That's available on Patreon right now on all tiers, even on the $1 tier. The false self funeral is there. And those words are so powerful. With words we create, right? That's our magic wand. So it's time to bury something, and only you know what that is. The next question that I presented was, what can I do in my day-to-day life to help me to heal this? And serpent of fire is what came up. Do not assess your current ability based on past standards, as they no longer apply to you. You are stronger and more powerful now than you have been before. You need to learn afresh what you are capable of, and Isis helps you now. Your capability. Are we using the past to assess what we're capable of? Are you assessing, a great example, are you assessing what you're capable of accomplishing physically today? Because yesterday maybe you were tired and just couldn't do it. Sometimes the energy is there, it's just waiting on you to accept it and to believe that maybe today I'm more capable of getting some tasks done than I was yesterday, even though it's just how I was feeling. You have to check in with yourself and see. But your current ability is not based on the old you. Those past standards were usually created before we went through this awakening phase. And for those of y'all that have been here with us for a while, we have went through every spiritual system we could possibly find, every form of gnosis, occult, right-hand path, middle path, left-hand path, shadow work, studying African different spiritual systems, studying Egyptian spiritual systems. And I created all of those online programs as we were going through that. So if you're new here and you missed it, like, it's all on the website. Just click on online programs and choose one and commit to doing it every day so that you can let go of judging yourself based on who you used to be. You are stronger today. And the universe is going to bring synchronicity to show you that, if you trust that and can receive that love right now. So I wanted to know what would be the outcome of actually using this. What would be the outcome? What new connections would I make? What new power would I tap into? And the card that I pulled was the Talisman of Potency. And you notice the talismans that she's wearing, right? So sacred tools and objects can be an extension of your energy field. By focusing your power and intention, helping you to heal the split between spirit and matter, bringing physical matter more deeply into the light and life. You are encouraged to work with sacred materials in a conscious way to help your own healing and enjoyment of material world, which is a part of your spiritual practice. Look, y'all, we didn't come here just to struggle and have hard times and go through stuff. We came here to experience life as a spiritual practice, finding something that lights your heart up, even if it's just for a few minutes, even if it's just for a few seconds. Using your talismans, using your tools, go back to your sigils, write your affirmation and create your sigil from that affirmation. A sigil is a symbol that you create and charge it up with your love. You know, lay one of your crystals on top of it, or one of your crystal necklaces. We have these highlights here available on the website that Ernest, my partner, actually makes himself. But these sacred tools and objects aren't meant to be just decoration or regalia. It's meant to be an extension of you. This is you letting the universe know, I am worthy of taking up space, and I'm going to take the inner world that I'm working on and the work that I'm doing on myself, and I'm going to connect it to my sacred tools and allow those sacred tools to permeate the work that I'm doing on myself into my environment, so that everywhere that my feet are touching, I'm taking that energy with me. Our ancestors were connected with nature, connected with crystals, connected with stones, Mama Earth. They were using their talismans. They were using their musical instruments and their gift of storytelling and the gift of fire and sitting around and doing these things. So don't sleep on that. If you don't have the time to do it, we have fire ceremonies that are on Patreon on every tier, and you can just sit through that and allow that fire to purify you. Between the website and Patreon, you will be able to find mostly everything that you need for your ascension journey. So like I said, we're making a transition, but while it's there, use it. The next thing that I wanted to know was what was going to be the biggest challenge, that and what type of opportunity is that challenge bringing me. And the card that I pulled was the Divine Guardian card. Okay. So maybe for some of us, the biggest challenge has been knowing and believing that not only do we have divine guardians, but your divine self, your future self, that's experiencing you the same way you can experience some of your childhood memories. That's always with us. Our honorable ancestors are always with us. If you have started working with divine archetypes, once you make that connection, sometimes that connection needs to be fed. It needs to be connected to consciously. So this is a time of significant spiritual growth and healing for you. The challenges that are in your life are to help you connect to this energy. You are protected during these times by the love and strength of the Divine Mother Isis. Relax and allow your transformation to happen. There's wisdom, so much wisdom in relaxation. And I know the world is so fast-paced, and I know how the 3D matrix can make you feel like you can never get caught up. You never will. We're not machines. You never will. Life is just the progress of events. Let yourself relax. Transformation can't always be something we try to force to happen. And I get it. When you start tapping into your shadows, you like, I gotta transform this, I gotta transform this. But maybe sitting with the discomfort, learning to relax into the discomfort of what you are becoming aware of, because your third eye is more open, and allow yourself to relax into the transformation. Your divine guardians are protecting you. Just let go. Have a moment to let go and unconditionally trust that everything that's happening to you is happening for you, to serve you. This is when you really start to challenge yourself to believe that you are divinely loved. Not just by yourself, but you are divinely loved. Everything that comes into your reality is guiding you back to that divine love at all times. And beneath the surface of the present situations, the 3D matrix wants to convince us that we cannot ever do better, be better, or have better. This is what the matrix needs to feed the archonic energies that feed off of fear, off of human suffering, off of doubt. So you pull away from that and you say, you know what I'm observing right now in my physical reality was created by the old me. And it's shifting. Miracles can happen. Miracles can happen whether I believe it or not. I didn't even think I would make it this far, and I'm here. I'm still standing. Take on the voice of the divine guardian to yourself. And when those internal voices get started and you don't even have enough money to do this and you can't even do that, and look at you, you failed at this, and you're having to find a new job, and you went to school to get this degree and now you don't even want to do this, and now you got to go back to school or get a job. It's just so many things. It's constant. And it's when you learn to talk back to yourself and you say, everything that's happening in my life is coming to support me. Even if I do not feel it, I choose to believe that everything is happening for me. My heart is teaching me how to love me. It's all for me. It's not against me. And no matter what it takes for me to believe that, I'm going to receive this as my truth. That is my choice. That is my sovereign right. I don't have to choose the internal critical thoughts as what I believe. I don't have to allow what I'm doing in my day to be set by the inner critic, right? We've been living in reverse. So negative thoughts create a negative mood attached to what we're doing in our day. And now, instead of the sacred tools being an extension of an energy field of positivity and optimism, growth, love, and healing, we create these extensions of the pain of the inner world that we haven't learned how to turn into purpose. All right? Don't believe reality. Switch your beliefs up to align with what it is that you desire to attract. This is the laws of the universe. Become the mirror to what you desire to attract. The next thing that I wanted to know was, what was some special guidance that could be given as to why those of us on this spiritual ascension journey may be having some of the experiences that we're having right now. And the card that I pulled was initiation. Look at the Eye of Horus. When you're going through initiation, you're being initiated into gnosis, hidden knowledge, divine mysteries, the mechanism behind what makes light light, which is the darkness creates the light. Learning to access love and power. And through the initiations that we used to have in our tribes, but now we're having these individual initiations in our lives. And so there are profound challenges coming up. And this reading is going to resonate across time and space no matter when you see this, because this is timeless. And the challenges that are coming up are calling for you to find the key within the challenge that creates opportunity for growth. Using the challenge, using the pain of whatever you are experiencing to transform it into purpose. The challenge is meant to help you expand, to turn you into a creator of the life that you know that you deserve, even if you don't know how to create it, even if you're afraid, even if you're afraid of being let down. You don't want to disappoint yourself. Maybe you've had past disappointments. Maybe you've tried to do things and it didn't work the way you wanted it to. I can relate to that. I put so much work into the online programs and creating that store over the years. And when I see sometimes, just like it seems like, is it losing resonance with people? Are people no longer resonating with this as being in service, using my gifts? Am I miscalculating something? Is there something different that is being required and called of me? And how can I allow the challenge of this present moment to guide me? And this is when I just detach from it and I say, well, I trust that the people who are in need of this, they will find this and nothing will stop them from accessing what it is that they need. I trust that. And you don't have to allow whatever external you're observing to make you doubt yourself, or make you have less faith in yourself and your abilities. And so that's self-compassion. And with initiation, compassion is required to get through the challenge of initiation. These challenges are not going to destroy you. These challenges are actually killing off the coping mechanisms of survival so that you can learn how to thrive, which is the main anchored frequency of a higher consciousness, of the new earth that is based in love and not fear. Can you imagine an economy created out of love and not fear? Ironically, I didn't ask for another card, but there was a card that jumped out, and this was the most beautiful way to end this reading. And this was the miracle of Isis. Isis is the goddess of rebirth. She's the high priestess of healing. She's one of the first goddesses that came to me when I started healing my divine feminine. And every person on this planet will benefit from healing the divine feminine, because without the divine feminine, you can't relax. The masculine isn't the energy of relaxation. It is the feminine. And if you struggle with relaxation, then your feminine is wounded. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Isis offers a miracle healing, and no matter how much you have struggled with a particular matter, no matter how impossible it may seem to imagine your life without this old wound, this old addiction, problems, relationship issues, or inner struggles being part of it, you are guided now to accept the possibility of miraculous healing. Let go and let the goddess be. So beautiful. So we can receive miracles. Receive. You don't create them. You have to receive them. You have to open up. If your energy field is afraid, not trusting, if you've been struggling in your relationships, if you, not just romantic, all relationships always beginning with yourself and different parts of yourself. If you've been dealing with old wounds and addictions, if you have this internal conflict and this inner struggle, and it's just been difficult for you to find a flow, you know, you're being initiated. And why wouldn't miracles be available to you now? You're no less than anybody else. Anybody that you feel like is living a life that reflects some of the things that you desire, like, there's no reason you can't have it. No one can block us more than us. And that's relief. That provides relief to know that. Because a lot of times when y'all do reach out to book a reading, you're like, look, something is blocking me. And sometimes it can be external things, but the internal world of you can change the external world. So if you would like some help, I have 3 to 5 spaces left for readings. And in my readings, I give you rituals, ceremonies, meditations, and I channel information from the Akashic record. Sometimes ancestors come through with a really powerful message. That's what you can expect in a reading with me. And I can get into the more personal stuff specifically for you. If you are truly ready to open up and receive some guidance and some clarity, just head over to the website. The link will be in the description, and you can book a reading with me. And like I said, it is really no words that I could use to express what happens when I come together with another soul with an open heart. Each and every time it is miraculous. Each and every time. So read the reviews. You know, if you would like to get more insight from other people, don't take it from, you know, just from me. And I want to thank you for taking the time out to listen to this reading. So yes, you might want to play this back. You might want to get your journal out and jot this down, because we're coming into some really, really turbulent waters. I mean, really challenging. And we're going to need the alchemists who are being activated with these new psychic abilities and these spiritual powers, these cities within us that I talked about in the last reading. We're going to really, really need to be able to walk in the truth of the power of our spiritual power and access. All right. Y'all know, I already know what it is. May 3rd, I just been kissed. I love you all. Namaste, Namaste. Ashe.